I just woke up from a nap. So, as things get going here, I'd like to welcome you to Declare's Delight for Life. I'm the sensible lady, and I help you put the sensible in sensible. You know, thinking about how to come out from being an underdog. Well, I have to admit, I've been an underdog most of my life, and having been an underdog most of the life, I could definitely tell you what it's like to be an underdog and to come through all those things that you have to come through to come out on top. And that's part of it's fortitude, perseverance, persistence, having God at my side, not at my side, actually the head of things in my life. And that, all being said, I'm going to show you some things that I've gone through and I've done throughout my entire life. And I'm going to share them with you. And I'm going to hopefully, bring some story to it and have you help you understand and have for yourself, if you're an underdog yourself, how you cannot be an underdog. And if you've got God at your side, you are not an underdog because you've got somebody who's there at your side. You know, come out from, do you know most underdogs come out on the top? Because a lot of times the underdogs have got a certain wherewithal, the fortitude, the where to be able to do it. Think of David and Goliath and how David had his 6 stones and he took them and one hit the giant in the right spot. And there was a big army that didn't want to take on these people, didn't want things. And he was the underdog. He was willing to go out there and do what it took to get the job done. And that's part of being an underdog. Underdogs, I have to admit, I haven't always played by the rules. When everybody told me I couldn't or can't or whatever, well, you know what? I said, no, I can do it. I realize that, no matter what, I'm going to have God at my side, and He's the ultimate winner. And the devil down below, he's lost. When Jesus died on the cross, he lost. And as a result, he does all sorts of devious things to us. To over here, we will have all this situation going on, like with me and my finances and everything. And then over here, God is trying to do this other thing. Well, there are things happening in my business that are making things quite successful, and there are some offers I've been actually just sent here tonight, and as all result, I've been an underdog. And I know my hair ain't the prettiest, but I still come to you, and it happens. I am an underdog, and you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. I used to worry about what other people think, and that's part of not being an underdog anymore either, is not worrying about what people think or think you should be or what you ever think. The only creation I worry about is how God sees me in His eyes. And that's the only person I worry about. And as far as everybody else is concerned, I take what they have to say into consideration. I respect them, dignity, love, kindness, and compassion. But the ultimate thing is I have to make the ultimate decisions because God gave us free will. And as an underdog in free times, is that I've got to make the right choices, and in making the right choices, great things can happen. And that's the way I have to see this. I have to have a vision, as when Declare's Light started just as an idea, and 84th Street Rocks, which happens, the corporation's name. Everything just started out as an idea, and the only thing I had going for me is I had the fortitude, persistence, and wherewithal just to dive in and do it. And that's also part of being an underdog, is being able to go out there and say, you know what, no matter the circumstances, I'm going to get the job done. And maybe this sounds all too simple, but this is what it takes to succeed. And could be anything in life as far as, trying to do this. I look at my past. Shoot, 44 years ago, I was supposed to be a human sacrifice. And that's no joke. And having come and living out of a cult into a Christian home, and that's where I returned. And that's where I was happy. And as a result of returning, to where I was and happy, and I felt the most successful, and not diving into things that were evil and like Wicca and all those other things. Yeah, I'm going to have people who disagree with me, but that's fine. I'm always going to have people who disagree with me. And in fact, I just had a disagreement with my neighbor, and well, she threatened to burn my house down, so I just called the cops. Well, the one thing about being an underdog is I'm not going to sit there and argue with somebody till the cows come home. Because you know what? That is a waste of time, whether it be a bank or an attorney's office. To sit there and worry about something till the cows come home definitely doesn't promote an underdog advantage, because an underdog realizes that, you know, there are sometimes you just gotta cut loose and just either leave people alone or not create situations for yourself. But the whole point is you make the decisions. You make the decisions, and that is so important. And I consult with God all the time, and He gives me the answers I need to do. Is you've got to fail early and take risks. That's what I do every day and every month out of my monthly income. I keep this going. I keep the trade moving, and you put your foots out there. You're willing to take and realize that no matter what, you know, you are ultimately responsible for yourself and your actions, and that's part of being an underdog. Yeah, I know I'm talking responsibility here, but that's what it takes to be an underdog and to overcome. Is that when you realize that despite being suicide attempts, despite, you know, bad relationships, being in Wicca, all those strange things I've done throughout my life, I just look at back at them. But this is what creates Declares Delight for Life, is me coming to you with my life experiences. And I'm also putting it out there to let you guys know that I'm also looking for other folks who are underdogs or who have life experiences too. I'm also letting you know about the book Declares as you clutter, a horror turns to clutter, and we have our challenge that's starting on Monday, the 28 days to declutter your life, and it's going to be happening every night here on Facebook Live. And I will give you your challenges. I will tell you what they are in the box over here, and you'll get all that information each night for your underdog challenge. Or I'm not an underdog challenge, but a challenge, I should say. And the whole great thing about it is I'm hoping that this has a big impact on your life, like it does, because having been an underdog all my life, I like to see you guys succeed. And I think that's a great thing for you. And I'm going to give you my best, and that's all I'm going to do. And be aware of the world around you. I have to be aware of what's going on in the world and what's going on and what things are happening. But the whole point is I don't have to always worry about, you know, how this is going to affect me or what's going to thing. You know, all during COVID, I just kept right on at you with, you know, great messages, and that's what I will continue to do. Is that, you know, the great message is that, anybody who thinks they're an underdog can win if you choose to. Or if you sit there on the curve like this and kind of go, well, you know what? I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it. Well, you know what? When you keep telling you the same thing over and over again, you start to believe it. Well, the one thing I'm learning is, you know, I can't always believe my thoughts, because my thoughts promote anxiety, worry, all sorts of crazy things. But the whole point is I don't have to do that if I don't want to. Yes, I don't have to do it if I don't want to, because I can turn things over to something great things and just do the next right thing. And that's an important trait of an underdog, is knowing when to do the next right thing. And that's huge. And don't let adversity get you down. Yeah, that's a huge one. You know, when it could be somebody who's a death. I went to a Bible study. There was people that had deaths that had happened. And the one thing is, I need to pray for those people who are left behind. And that's an important trait of underdogs too, is to be humble. You've got to remain humble. And that's huge. And the whole thing is that when you realize that, you know, and you can even talk yourself into depressions, because I know that to be true, because I know that when I'm not doing positive things or negative things are happening, my mind can become a squirrel cage, and I get out of sync. I'm not able to do what I need to do, and as a result, but there's also times you need to take a time out, which I've done between last night and sometime today. And I'm going to be at it again somewhat tonight. But the point is, too, is part of being an underdog, is knowing when to do self-care. That's a huge one. A lot of folks won't talk about that as far as being an underdog, is that you got to take care of yourself. Otherwise, you can't do anything as far as that's concerned. And I know for me, to you, I know there's a lot of underdogs out there, and I want to hear from you. I really do, because you know what? I'd like to pray for you and let you know that there's a lot of folks out there that love you. And then to kind of top it all off, Jesus was an underdog. He came down to us, but he was born very humbly. He was a carpenter, and he sold his wares. You know, he was a business person himself, and as a result, he humbled himself to, take on, some burdens of all of us. And as a result, I think about it, he was an underdog, but you know what? He came out on top. And now all of us look at him and say, you know what? He's a success. He's God. Yeah, and no, I'm not trying to preach at you, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, the devil thought he was going to win that time and thought Jesus was going to bow into him. But you know what? He didn't, because he was the underdog, because he came out on top for all of us. And for me, that's huge, to realize that God came out from under to be the top dog. And you know what? I love it. I think I love it. I love it. I love it. Because realizing that he was an underdog just like me gives me hope, gives me encouragement, and makes me realize, you know what? People can throw all things at you, and they're going to do that if you're an underdog. Or adversity is going to come your way, and you're going to wonder, how come is this happening? But you have to realize that a lot of times when you have adversity, it's those life lessons that teach you the things that motivate you to change, to grow, to learn, because all those traits are so important to being an effective underdog. Because all these things I'm sharing with you are all out of my life experience, and all I can say to you is, there's lots of books out there on success, and the only thing I have to say is, well, that's great. I love to hear you, but I love one content book of all of them all, and that's the Bible. And yeah, I have to admit, I love my relationship with Jesus Christ, because it gives me an entirely different set of perspective on the world and how I see things, and make me realize that I'm only a partner, because Jesus Christ, my Lord, is the CEO of my company. And I love it because he was an underdog and he came out on top, and I'm an underdog and I'm a partner in the business. So, I'm here at his direction and his discretion. But the whole thing is I don't have to live this way unless I choose to live in depression, to live in anxiety. I have a lot better choice than that. And we all do. We all have choices we can make in life. Yeah, there are going to be some things out of our control. And that is one thing, too, you've got to realize as an underdog, too. There are going to be situations and things that happen that are out of your control. And you're going to have a little bit of level of acceptance in order to have a lot of wherewithal. And yeah, sometimes, I look at a story in the Bible of Jonah and the whale. He was told to go someplace else, but he gets swallowed by a whale and ends up in the belly for 3 days, and then he comes out. In a sense, he was an underdog too, because he thought, what was best for him instead of for people. And that's what I'm here about, is people. And people are so important because, we have all this wonderful technology and all these wonderful things, but when it really comes down to it, the most important thing out there is people. and people are what count as far as I'm concerned. And my doggy Ann, I love her. She's getting groomed tomorrow, so she's gonna have her day of beauty. And she just had her birthday today, and just had a birthday close to mine. So today is Ann's birthday, my beagle. I just thought I'd share that with you because to me it's special, and she got some special things, and and she's just out here resting, and she has a good time. And as far as I'm concerned, I just want you guys to realize that no matter whether you be an underdog or not, you can all succeed at life if you make the right choices. And yeah, it's personal responsibility, but my 12-step program is about personal responsibility. My, Overeaters Anonymous, my program, it's what gives me the ability to have a life. It's based on God. The 12 steps are about social responsibility, and I've been in that program 32 years, and I was an underdog for 20 years. I was in and out of relapse, compulsively eating up to 494 pounds, and then all of a sudden, I've been given a decision: either lose the weight, take care of myself, and do the right things, or go buy a coffin. And that was a choice I had to make myself, and make better choices and better choices as a result of that, which ultimately has led me to this point in my life. I have a normal body weight. I'm happy with what I am. And, life ain't perfect, and life will never be perfect. And yeah, there's probably going to be some sort of battle or problem that's always going to pop up, or challenge, or gift. There are many ways we can call it. And it is all a part of life itself. But how we view it and take it and are able to do with it determines whether you're an underdog and you're going to win, or you're not an underdog and you're just going to sit there at the curbside like this. So, with that, I wish you a great Declares Delight for life. Have hope, have peace. Go out there, even if you're an underdog or if you're not, and go out there and succeed in God's eyes. And with that, have a great night and blessings to you all.